This video will focus on representing data within ArcMap. Now, looking at Canada, you see the provinces and the major roads and the cities. However, though, let's just say the map wasn't just going to be a general reference map. Let's just say we had a theme to the map of representing population. And for example's sake, the data is from 1991, respective of population. In order to do that, starting off with cities, if you right-click in the table of contents on the particular layer and go to Properties, you'll see that there are several tabs here. Please click on Symbology. Now in this example, single symbol is the one that is active. However, you'll see a couple of other categories here for how data can be represented. And for categories, let's just say, for instance, we were showing the major regions of Canada, or the major cities based upon, let's say, political affiliations, things like that. Well, that's when we can go into categories. However, though, looking at population, we want to go to quantities. Okay, now when you click on quantities, you'll see that you have graduated colors, graduated symbols, and proportional symbols. Well, let's first start off with graduated colors. Let's change the color of these city circles to represent population. Now, in order to do that, you go to Fields, and in the drop down for Value, right here, you select what it is you want to represent. And, okay, it automatically dropped it down here. And, by the way, you're going to see -99 show up. Whenever you see -99, that is an industry way of identifying where data was not collected. Now, you might say, well, why not just simply use 0 if you didn't collect any data? The reason being is that 0 is a value. When you put 0 down, you're saying, by the way, there is nothing of whatever it is you're looking at. So that's why -99 appears. And so, click OK. Oh, look at that. Welcome to the world of candy. Okay, that is visually, that's just not going to work. Okay, you can't really see the data magnitude very well unless your eyes are better than the average human being. Well, let's go back into cities again and go to Properties. Now, instead of graduated colors, maybe let's go with graduated symbols. Now, with graduated symbols, you're going to see here in the range, what it does is it identifies a certain size respective of a range of data. That works out just fine. Now, instead of just clicking OK, I'm going to click on Apply, so that way I can more quickly get back to this this window here. I click Apply. Let me move this out of the way, and there you go. Now you see that the cities are represented by the population of the cities are represented by the size of the circles. By the way, another thing you could have done too. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's click on proportional symbols. Now, proportional symbols, it is going to be a direct change in the size of the symbols based upon the value. Now, let's see what happens if we plug in population again. Apply. And there you go. What's happened is you're seeing a direct representation of the data, and there are cases where that works out wonderfully. However, though, for this map, I'm not going to opt for that just because because of the congestion respective of the distance between the different Canadian cities, it's not right. I can go back to the other convention, graduated symbols. Okay, population, we already know that. Symbols, okay, you know, we talked about that. And I click OK. And there you go. So now we're back to that again. And by the way, I'm going to leave it as this color for now. Now, for the roads, for a map dealing with population, this is a good example of removing layers that really don't have any purpose. By the way, road layers are great. They're absolutely great when it comes to a general reference layer quite often. But for this map, you really don't need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check it off. There we go. Click. It's gone. Now for the provinces. Let's go to Provinces Properties. And because this data has magnitude, we're going to go to Quantities. And graduated colors. That sounds good. Let's go ahead in the value, and you'll see that the population 1991 is identified as, well, guess what? POP 1991. And by the way, this data you see here in the values, these are all coming from the attribute tables of the respective fields that you're working with. So what you see here is what you'd see also within the attribute tables. So I do that, and you see, okay, hey, we got a nice range right here. Now, here you see range, and here you see label. You'll see that these both correspond rather well. This is where ArcMap gives you the ability to make a judgment call. If you saw their values here that they just didn't seem like they would jive well with the public, they just didn't seem like they would work. And if you want, you can come in here and you can actually change them. But be very, very careful if you do that. Please make sure that you don't lose any data when you mess around with the ranging. But it can be done, though. Okay, I'm going to click Apply. Okay, and, well, doesn't look too bad, doesn't look too good. I'm not happy with that, to be quite honest with you. The reason being is that looking at these more intense colors, this is a bad color scheme because it is really, look, I mean, if this was depicting the zombie apocalypse and where the zombies are located, I'd say fine, that looks great. But the thing is, we're just showing population. So let's go back here again. Now for the color ramp, you see right here. And by the way, if you wanted to share with somebody, say, hey, you use a particular kind of color ramp, all you have to do is just simply right-click and check the graphic view, and you'll see actually what it is called. But let me go back again, please. And, well, you know, going from green to my darker blue, that may not be a bad thing to do. Let's go ahead and let's click on that. Okay. And let's apply it. Well, what we have now is a color scheme where a lot of things are pretty pleasant. I guess as a judgment call, may want to, in the future, pick colors that aren't as strong. Say, for instance, at the higher range here, this darker blue, but still, it isn't. At least in my perspective, and if you have a different perspective, go for it. But this would work out okay. Okay, it's tolerable. So, wonderful. Now we have the points representing population, representing a range that is respective of the value for the cities, and for the provinces, you see that they have been categorized within ranges of color that are respective of the value in which they have related to their population.